APM alignment. Today we have Jan Zborowski from SoftwareMill, co-founder. Hey Jan, welcome to the show.
Hi Romeo, thank you for having me here. Hi everyone who's listening, watching us. Great to be here and share a bit some knowledge, some information. But I'm also excited about Romeo, what you're doing, what your insights from the market, because you are the one who connects people, connects dots, builds strategies. So I believe it won't be only me talking, but we'll have a
Yeah,
chance to hear you as well.
sure. We are doing this series with software houses, and we had before few companies from Polish market. So today we will talk a bit about these guys from Software Mill, which the first thing that I knew about them was even before COVID that they were doing this amazing job with remote work. So they had some amazing systems with distributed teams, right? And then you guys in COVID, you were like the leaders of teaching everyone how to actually work remotely. Another thing that I know about software is that you guys are the Scala guys, but we will go into all these details just to understand how you guys started and so on. But before us, tell us a bit about you about Software Mill. What's like the history? What's the evolution of Software Mill, and what is now like top of mind, like in a more helicopter view?
Sure. It's all started 15 years ago. I still can't believe it's such a long history behind us.
Yeah.
There were four founders at that time, and we started our company. We put a lot of stress on building company culture, and from
Mhm.
the very beginning, we decided to be 100% remote company. And of course, we are staying 100% remote. I've heard many companies decided to go back to offices or promote the hybrid model. As it comes to Software Mill, we keep working remotely and we feel very comfortable with this environment. It also helps us to cooperate internationally with our clients, that most of them are coming from abroad and we don't have a chance to work with them on site on a daily basis. So we build a lot of tools or a company culture around it to be efficient while working remotely, but also build relationships in that environment. Uh, yeah, and
I I
yes,
know
Roma.
that you guys are known for the Scala things. Tell us a bit, first of all, what is it, or what do you guys do, and how is that? Is the history started more like with the technology, or with few friends that you were specialized in a particular niche, and then you grew like a snowball effect, or what? Talk like non-technical for sure, and then later on we can go into more 2024 topics, but I'm curious of how everything started.
Yeah, so my business partners, the other co-founders, they are software engineers and they were specialized in JVM technology. So it was Java back then. But one of Adam Warski, one of my business partners, he realized a huge potential in Scala. It's another technology, another programming language that he introduced to SoftwareMill, and indeed it was and it still is a major technology that we use for backend development and is used for large scale projects where you
Hmm.
process a lot of data, a lot of information. You have a lot of users, lots of events happening. So you need a scalable solution for it, and Scala perfectly matches that requirement.
Hmm.
And there are in Poland, there are, I believe, two or three companies that specialize in Scala, and I believe we have built over the years a quite good brand around it. uh, because
Mm-hmm.
of many marketing activities. We also trained engineers, Java engineers who wanted to start developing Scala. And we also did a lot of content marketing, promoting ourselves at conferences, sharing knowledge. And thanks to it, we approached many interesting companies. We started many interesting projects. Uh, but that's one area of expertise.
So
Around
what Scala was something new at the beginning when you guys started, or
Yes,
because you
Scala,
were saying that you were training people and so on, it was something like unknown for the market?
it's quite a niche technology. If you look
Uh-huh.
at how many engineers are there in Scala, it's not a very common language.
Uh-huh.
So it helps us a lot. In few years back, the biggest challenge for many companies was availability of software engineers.
Mm-hmm.
And many companies followed the engineers asking what technology you would like to use for your project. And
Uh-huh.
the quite common case was that some engineers have chosen Scala as a promising technology that would help them solve many uh, problems they had back then, and they couldn't use other technology. And so they switched to Scala, and then there was a big problem of finding other engineers to help develop those systems to scale the team. So thanks to it, we as SoftwareMill we grown a lot because we
Mm-hmm.
had an ability to hire those engineers or to train others to start
Mm-hmm.
using this technology. But still, it's a quite niche area. As I told you, in Poland, there are just a few companies, and SoftwareMill and Virtus Lab are the biggest companies at the market that specialize in the technology, and we merged
Mm-hmm.
a year ago. So and that only
Interesting.
shows that that market is quite well um, recognized by us, and there are not other companies entering this niche.
So, so basically, some companies build their own infrastructure based on what technologies do the developers wanted. Just simple as that. Like
Yeah.
they just went blindly and said, okay, if the engineer says Scala, let's go Scala.
Not blindly, because those engineers were doing a lot of research, and Scala
Mm-hmm.
was and still is a quite modern technology. Uh,
Uh-huh.
since then, Scala has 20 years, and we
Mm-hmm.
celebrated it last year. And so it's pretty new technology, and it was quite advanced. Nowadays, there are new technologies entering the market, or Java has yeah, there are new versions of Java that are more advanced, and have they solve you can nowadays you can solve some challenges that you used to have, and you had to use Java Scala for this, but now you can
Mm-hmm.
use Java or other technologies that can
So
also solve
so
those problems.
how do you see the market today, like compared to when the company would choose the technology based on the engineer? Is the same situation today, or do the business people got more mature and now they understand better the technologies, or is
It's
still the same approach?
I think the business people are still the business people, while technology people are still technology people. But I think that few years back, it was engineers who have a big influence on technical
Mm-hmm.
decisions in companies, while currently, I think these are business people, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't go so much into details as it comes to technology. They want to solve problems. They are not interested how it is done, but they are interested if it is possible, and where to get people from to solve those challenges, and how
Mm-hmm.
much that would cost.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big difference, because accessibility of engineers, I think a few years back it was the biggest challenge and the
Mm-hmm.
biggest barrier of growing your company to find right talent for your company. So nowadays, companies unify the technology stack. They don't invest so much in new technologies. They rather polish what they have. They optimize costs. They try to adding new features. It's not the biggest priority for many companies at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's why they also unify technology stack. But I'm sure that there is still a lot of potential in Scala. There is still a very big market for this. And just a few weeks back, we signed new contracts, and these are contracts where Scala would be used heavily, and we are already promised that why scaling the team that SoftwareMill would be the biggest partner for this, because it's not only the technology that we know, but also the type of people that we have, and the people who share knowledge, who are interested in solving problems, that they are very communicative, um, and how our clients knew it. They just read our blog posts. They know us from conferences where we share knowledge. So we give them samples of
Mm-hmm.
who we are, who you will be working with, and that's very, very important for them.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important to show what you get, right?
Mhm.
Especially when you are in service business. But so just to peel the onion a little bit on the history. So you guys went into to this technology, which what I understood that is solving this data problem, right? And then you went on this problem, like on this to solve this data problem that companies have, and then you added more technologies that solves similar problem, or you went more on, okay, we really know this industry because in this particular industry Scala is used. Can you a little bit elaborate more on going out of the technology, more talking about the problem and industries?
Yeah, yeah. So a few years back, we our CEO finished his MBA studies, and thanks to the knowledge he gained, he challenged us to write our first strategy for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a market research and analysis. We realized that okay, Scala, that's the area that we are very well known of. So we should definitely stick to it. But we realized that we have also great Java engineers in our team. We have also front-end engineers, DevOps. So we shouldn't only concentrate on Scala,
Mm-hmm.
because it's as we always diverse as it comes to clients, not to have too big clients, but to have different size companies, and not to build our presence only on one company, on one client. So it was
Mm-hmm.
also from the technological point of view, not to stick only to one technology. And
Mm-hmm.
another change, I think it was after um, last few years, where especially last year, where you saw that the market was going is different now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't sell availability of engineers anymore. You need
Mm-hmm.
to understand what kind of problems you are solving. So while writing another strategy for another 4 years, we also asked ourselves, we asked clients, we did the research on the market. What are the challenges a part of using the technology, about providing more engineers and helping scale teams? What other problems do we solve? Of course, as many companies, we thought about some segments, the like fintech, into insurtech,
Mm-hmm.
medtech, and so on. But
Mm-hmm.
we've realized that, and of course we have big expertise in those areas. However, each client that approach us have different, again, it's technology that unites them. And we
Mm-hmm.
also looked on what kind of, as we are known as tech experts, what kind of tech problems do we solve? And we realize it's that coming with a big scale of a project, our clients pay more and more for example, for infrastructure. So we help them optimize costs of infrastructure. Building large-scale projects means security challenges. So
Mm-hmm.
again, we also concentrate nowadays on security and helping clients to build secure systems. And uh, another challenge is observability. Companies get more and more data from the system, but not all of them know how to use that data because it's very difficult to access it. They get it, but they
Mm-hmm.
do nothing. So we help them with observability. And so we had to redefine what we are doing. We had to understand what are the real problems that we are solving. And based on it, we started new campaigns and now, after more than half a year, I can say, okay, it was a very good decision because,
Mm-hmm.
again, we are very well known from Scala, from other technologies, but we added also those typical problems that our clients
Mm-hmm.
might be facing, and we address those challenges and we talk about it. And we get a lot of attention thanks to it.
Mm-hmm. So the trigger, you believe, besides the fact that your CEO challenged it and it was the MBA, was it the trigger, market going down, or not being the software developers on that much demand? I'm just trying to understand that, is this happening usually when, let's say, shit hits the fan, or it's
Oh,
just
definitely, because I
yeah.
remember when we were many years ago, when we were a much smaller company, and one of our clients was responsible for 35% of revenue, and we
Mm,
were saying, okay, we need to do something to make a chance, to make a change. And
mm-hmm,
we were discussing, we had a lot of company retrospective, and each time with the action points coming from the retrospective was, we need to do something about it. We need to make a change.
mm-hmm,
But we couldn't find any solution. But once there was a big risk of losing this client, we really started doing something. And the same,
mm-hmm,
I think, with those new products, new ideas about on sales. We knew that the market was changing. We knew that we had to do something. We knew that we can't continue our business the way it is, but we didn't know where to start, what to do, uh, until the moment that our CFO presented our
your numbers.
numbers, and we realized, okay, that's the time we need to do something. And one of the very first decision was to hire Konrad Łódzka, who is our Chief Growth Officer, and a
Uh-huh.
person who drove the, came with new energy, with new ideas, and also he's a very hard working person. So he and who loves challenges. So we
Mm-hmm.
presented him, okay, we have a challenge because the market is the services that we are selling right now. We can't see so much traction on it, and we need
Yeah.
to find out something new. So we had a couple of workshops, discussions, and yeah, that's how we figure it out. It was
Yeah.
painful, it was time consuming, it was very stressful, but now I can say it. brought us results.
Yeah, one thing, one thought on this, and before that, I must say that you guys, from the analysis that we did on the software houses, you are the one of the most stable companies. Like the volatility is not there in terms of employees. Obviously, it comes when with smaller teams, smaller volatility compared to the bigger companies, but also the median employee tenure, like how much you keep an employee, is pretty high, which is pretty impressive. So congrats for that.
Thank you.
Nevertheless, I think usually in software houses, what I saw in the last 8 years almost working with engineers is this conflict that happens in terms of mindset. It's just how the brain is wired, right? Like marketing and understanding the market and doing new strategies, because what you did is a pretty great value proposition, new value proposition. You rebranded your website. You just did a not only a facelift, but you also did a value prop and which is great. But usually it's marketing, and all we do in this activity is not an exact science. So you have no freaking idea. You can control some of the things, but it's not an exact science as in mathematics or as in programming. Hence, there is a lot of frustrations when these two teams collide, right? Because marketeer comes and said, "Let's just test it. Let's put out messages. We do ads, and obviously we control the narrative. We have a topic, but we do A/B test. We are testing. If we make mistakes, we iterate, we learn, and then we do another experiment, right? So it all works with experiment, with testing, failing, testing, failing, um, which
And it's very
means that,
expensive. It is very
and it's
expensive. And you mentioned that
exactly,
we are a company that grows steadily because our strategy before that we were growing organically. And
mm,
so there was no so much pressure on getting results. Our goal was to do the best way what we can do, and then results were coming. But we realized it's not a good strategy anymore, and we need to be more proactive. It costs, and many of the costs that you spend, it's experimenting, and you don't get results. And on some cases, you get results after half a year, after many months. So it's a lot of frustration that the work you do, you can't see results coming.
yeah,
And
hmm
but the key is company culture, where you can explain it, you can share it, and also engage people uh, in those challenges that you are facing.
yeah. I think also what you guys did well was organic, right? And the challenge here is that when you have organic traffic, because your blog was like, you before had Medium and you were really good in that. I remember back like 6 years ago when we did the analysis, and Maria was working a lot on these content marketing blog posts and
And
so on.
she still does.
Yeah, which is great. But the problem is that the demand changed, right? So that strategy doesn't work anymore, because now nobody will come only from a blog post, because the demand is not there and there are other alternatives. So the market changing. Um, I'm just wondering, in your company, um, you needed, and this is what you told me, that you hired a growth specialist. Was this person the one needed to change the mindset of the organization, to do the change management within the organization, that okay guys, when we look at the future and the strategy of growth, it means like trialing and experimenting and investing the money and so on? or it was self-driven by the internally by you guys? What was the, if you could tell us a bit about the change management in terms of this part?
Mm, we knew that we came to some kind of limit because we've been in company as owners in the beginning, and we did our best, and our company is
Mm-hmm.
always in our heart, and we would do everything that we could to develop it and to make it grow. But we realized that we reached some barrier because you need to be expert in some area, and we knew that we
Mm-hmm.
are experts in software development. We, as you mentioned, our blog posts are really, really popular, and we have many engineers who read it, but we can't be experts in everything. So we decided we
Mm-hmm.
need an expert in in growing the business. Um, and another thing that I think we realized, and maybe it was a challenge, that having such an expert also requires some extra funds for this experimenting that we are not
Mm-hmm.
afraid of, because we software engineers, we also work in iterations and we monitor the results, and then we make another steps. So we were ready for that iterations to try new things, see the results, how is it going, improve it. Does it bring results? If yes, we will follow, we will do further improvements. If not, we need to stop and start doing something else. We had such a mindset, but still it's a very, very expensive journey.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there was an understanding. We need to invest in it. We couldn't do it anymore without further investment, and we are really lucky for many years that we were driven by inbound sales. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not very typical. You could probably tell more about other companies, about their strategies, but it's normally the inbound sales that drives the growth of a company. In SoftwareMill, for many, many years, it was the other way around. It was the inbound sales that make us grew, and yeah, become bigger and bigger company.
Yeah, I majority of the software companies that we looked at in the past, they had I mean, inbound was number one, but the inbound is very much dependent on the market situation and on the demand, right? So whenever the market is not doing good, then demand of software developers goes down. But I would like, Jan, if we can, to just also for the listeners and maybe for other companies in similar situation today, like you or whoever are thinking to hire a growth chief growth officer, right? um, the decision is clear why you did it, but I was wondering, how did you think of the competencies and the skills and the attitude that a particular person needs? I know that I don't know the details, but it might happen that you knew this person and through networking, and then you could hire. And that is the easiest way to hire, right? And you're the luckiest if you hire this way. But if you would not have this and you need to go down the traditional route of finding someone like the person you found, could you shed some light on, okay, how this process should go from a management perspective down to recruitment and actual interviews?
It's a very big challenge to hire someone who, in the area that you are not expert, or the area you want to develop, and you would like someone to drive this change. And maybe one of the reasons it took us so long to hire someone for that role was that we
Mm-hmm.
had tried few times to hire people differently on the local market, external market, some people who told us they have skills and to do it, and we weren't successful. Those people were very good in selling themselves, but in later on in selling our services, there was a big mm,
Mm,
it was a big challenge. And
mm-hmm,
I think what worked this time was that we hired someone from our network, someone
mm-hmm,
we knew very well. We knew how he was working, what he was working on, and he had experience in our industry. So we didn't have to invest so much in teaching him. Actually, he had a lot of ideas, a lot of previous experience he could bring to us, and it also helped us to open to new channels of sales that we didn't have experience with.
mm-hmm.
Mm,
And I
but
see here, sorry, I see here
yeah,
that so Conrad is actually did the same MBA at Kosminski University, quite prestigious university in Warsaw. He did a MBA together with Tomasz, right? So the
exactly.
connection came from there.
So two
Okay, so
years
guys,
of
if you
studying
need
together.
exactly, so if you need growth, guys, maybe having MBA and try to find people there, it's a good source if you have a good
You need to
business.
understand that
Obviously,
the MBA studies they last for 2 years, so you have
exactly.
time to
Yeah,
get to know
yeah,
someone perfectly from the business
super.
perspective, from the official situations, but also from private ones.
Uh-huh.
So then and of course, the same studies, that's a common field. You have a better understanding. You have the same language,
Mhm.
and I think it was a key success here. And
Mhm.
we still continue to grow our sales force, and we build a network, international sales network. But again, it's based on our network
Mhm.
to be sure who we are working with, and of course the criteria that we have before starting the cooperation are quite clear for both sides, and there is a limited time when we will check those criteria. Are we going in good direction? What happened? Of course, it might something happen that those criteria are not uh, um, yeah, maybe not all of them, or some of them are not filled in, but we need to understand why, what happened, because working with markets, you need to be flexible. You need to, of course, you need a lot of hard work, you need a lot of luck, but you need to understand the market. And so that's what we would be checking with those new people joining our team or
Mhm.
building our partnership network.
Got it. So the biggest challenge in actually hiring these people is the understanding of the market. This is what I understand, right?
Yes, and especially if you hire someone for a management role. In our case, we expect someone to drive change, be responsible.
Mhm.
So not to be worried to work on those challenges, not to be the person who would say, okay, just to advise, to give good advices to other people, because everyone in our company is very busy, 100% busy. So telling them how to do their job or they need to do won't make a change. You need to be responsible for another piece of work within SoftwareMill and take care of this and find people to help you and be the manager of the change, the
Mhm.
be the ambassador to find people who would support you and help you with this, but not by telling them to do so, but by encouraging them, by being an example and finding
Mhm.
new ideas.
So maybe that's why you guys have such a long tenure in terms of employees because of this healthy approach. Before we end, I'm just curious about what's like now top of mind for our you guys, and in what you're trying to invest for the future.
Definitely sales, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
especially that we decided we need to grow and we need to be more proactive in this area. So that's definitely what we explore more. And we, as I mentioned, not only we want to have people working for us internally, but we want to have a network of partners that we
Mm-hmm.
cooperate with. Uh, so we have some strategical partner for some kind of services, but also for sales reason. Mm, yeah, so I think that that would be this one. And another one is that change the kind of services that we offer to the market. So we need to be more specialized in those areas, get more case studies in that area that would
Mm-hmm.
prove, and more materials, including content marketing, that proves that our expertise in this area. Um, yeah, so I think that's the biggest challenge at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And technologically, how do you guys see what's coming? Is like, because I don't know if you're watching the stock market or what's happening, but there is a lot of volatility when it comes to even AI, because investors are pulling back because there is still no proof of real improvements of it. So, and but still a lot of money involved in technology. And I suppose that you guys, like, you cannot avoid you like tech companies, like you're on the middle of this change of this AI. Um, so in terms of being bullish or bearish regarding the technology, where do you see software mill, and how do you see the future of what's happening in the market? Are you guys like, let's go all in, invest in marketing and sales because the market will recover, things will get better, or still cautious about the steps that you make?
Mm, it's I think it's always experimenting, but healthy experiments. Not I have an idea, let's do it. But we do, although we are nearly 100 person company, so relatively small, I believe we are from the corporate side very grown up. So the decisions are made based on the data. We, you did your own report on marketing of some companies. We also monitor the market, the job market, the other companies, how they
Mm-hmm.
perform, what kind of activities do they do, what kind of services.
Mm-hmm.
We are much closer to our clients right now. We talk with them, we challenge them, we ask them questions to understand why do they really work with us, what's our unique selling point. We spend more time with them and add new services, and not only to do the software development, but also to advise them in many areas. So we want to be
Mm-hmm.
more proactive and become the partners for any technological
Mm-hmm.
challenges. Even some of them won't be developed by us, but we would like, to advise them who to partner with and which company to choose for further development. Um, and as it comes to technology, again, we monitor the popularity of technologies, what companies choose for further development. So when there was a time that blockchain we had a whole blockchain department at SoftwareMill because
Mm-hmm.
we did a research. We understood there would be a need on the market, and we had the team working on this. Around 4 years ago, we already invested in building our machine learning and artificial intelligence team because we already knew that that's a new thing. It's coming to the market. It's last year that everyone started talking, thanks to OpenAI and the GBT chat, about
Mm-hmm.
those the technologies, but we were already there. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, again, it was trying, it was investing, it was building our presence on that market, having some building some partnerships in this area. But right now, if a client approach us asking for machine learning services, artificial intelligence, we already tell them we have 4 years experience in that market. We have already
Mm-hmm.
full portfolio of commercial and scientific projects that prove our expertise in this area. We have our engineers have also scientific papers written with other scientists that were published, for example, in neurological Nature.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so w when we decide to go make some change, to invest in some area, we do it in parallel from the technological point of view, but it's followed also with marketing and right now with also sales force to make sure that we will succeed in this area because it's very easy to spend money on marketing, on sales, and not bring results. So
Mm-hmm.
once we invest, we want to make sure that we understand the market, the needs, where we are, and monitor if what we are doing actually brings the value and yeah, and we reach the market.
Got it. Thanks a lot, Jan. I don't know if you have some questions for me before we end.
Oh yeah, definitely, Romeo. Because you work with many companies, you talk with many entrepreneurs. So I wonder, what's your perspective on the post-COVID challenges on the market? Because we know that during the pandemic, everyone wanted to go work remotely, to make all processes digital, and so on. But later on, there were layoffs in the States. Then the market is much more challenging. Of course, the salaries, especially in Poland, gone up. So there isn't that arbitrage anymore where you could get few engineers from Poland in price of one engineer in the States, for example. So what's your comment on this? What are the changes that you observe?
Like my feeling is that it's first of all there was a correction done, right? So it's more to discuss here, but the layoffs, for example, without being harsh, some of them were a correction because there was some overhiring done. Like we know a lot of companies that wanted to grow and to show growth by hiring, right? And this was, I think, correction number one. The second correction, I believe, is in the VC funding, where there was way too much money in the market for things that were, let's say, unnecessary. Like even Radek said, like everybody wanted to do the net guru. Like Radek from NetGuru said that everybody wanted to do the Revolut, the next Revolut, and all the banks and bunch of money spent in this, and I don't know, even some funding and some companies worth more than the GDP of Czech Republic, right? So this correction in a way was needed, I think. And the third thing, this drew to a, in my view, a very positive thing, which is productivity and making decisions more calculated, exactly what you explained today. So what I see is that companies want much more. much more productivity, much more efficiency, um, in their whole processes, right? Because of uh, this stage of growth at all cost is not there anymore, right? Because the interest rates are higher, VCs don't have money, they don't invest. So we are going into this era of retention, right? Or we are in the era of retention. Do more with what you get, do more with your current clients, which in my view was very, very good, and it's very important to wake up uh, people that, hey, just throwing money, hiring like crazy, having a huge discrepancy into like there is no I don't know how much you read about equality economy, but COVID made a lot of people rich, way too rich, and the problem is that the regular people didn't have that growth, right? So if you were not in digital, you didn't have that. So uh, the discrepancy between a software developer in Poland even and a bus driver is way too big, right? And this should not be there. We should not have that big of a discrepancy. So the fact that you have layoffs and you have it's all correction because it was too blindly going into one direction that growth will happen at all time. So I believe that the coin has flipped. At one point in the past, tech guys or developers were at the head of the table. Now more business people and the marketers are the head of the table because of the lower demand. So it's a little bit of a flip, which I believe things work when you have unity and when you have more calculated decisions on what you do. So we don't need exponential growth necessarily. We need steady growth, accumulating, compounding effects, uh, milestone after milestone that improve the situation. So this is how. But maybe I'm more like very risk averse and very careful with the risks. So um, this is how I like to do it. But mm I believe the future is very good when we come to AI, when we come to cut of interest rates. For sure, there will be solution with the war. So AI is for sure something that will change everything on how we work. There is a lot of skeptics, but it's just the beginning, I believe. We are just starting to scratch the surface of what's possible, and I'm just very positive about improving the quality of life of each person through technology, because this is what we want at the end of the day, like not productivity and improving the life expectancy and the life of people, right? Like it's not rocket science at the end of the day.
And Romeo, you're specialized in marketing, so I wonder what would be your advice for software development companies that are struggling right now? Because some of them, I'm sure they were very successful in the market, but it stopped working because of the change of algorithms, the way the clients think, of course, the availability of local engineers and so on. So, what kind of strategies and maybe strengths you recommend to promote to get a more attention of potential clients?
Nothing changed from how we did it a few years back. It's always content wins, right? You cannot time the market. This if you remember this growth hacking. ideas were there in the past, 2015, Dropbox
Mm.
and all these Airbnbs and making all these. Actually, they were making experiments in the platform, and we call them growth hacking. This is going down because this is more like trading in the stocks. You're trying to time the market, while it's pretty simple. Just make fucking good content and just be totally honest, transparent, and don't try to be more than what you are, because at the end of the day, you are here for long term. If you're here just to, cryptocurrency that goes up and down, and then okay, fine. But there is nothing better than inbound. If people want to buy from you, they know how to buy from you. They know how to contact you if they really want to buy from you. So that's clear. Whatever tactic and whatever you do on your, obviously there are some benchmarks, UX, UI, design. You don't create some messy 2022 website. But if they really want to buy from you, they know. So being this idea of, okay, now you do outreach and you push and you push and you push. This is again uh, trying to be opportunistic, or trying to find a way and trying to find a hack. While it's pretty much simple, make a newsletter like you guys have Scala Times, make a podcast, make webinars, do events, do conferences, make good content. And if you send an email, if you dare to send an email, make sure it's fucking good email and it's value and relevant and you're not selling anything. So it's pretty simple, and it worked in the 80s, it will work in the 90s, 2000, and in the future. Because what you do is you just share what you are good at. Of course, you need to be good at
Mm.
something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You need
that's
to have something
maybe
that you
a
can,
big challenge to find what it is and name it and learn how to talk about it. And of
for
course,
sure.
go deep in it.
But it's quite hard to do content marketing and you didn't do something good and insight, and you come up with something that is your actual insight or content, yeah, your property. Because if not, what you do journalism, and you will do uh curation, right? Like you go out. I'm not saying curation is also very good, but add your flavor in, right? So in your case, you guys were good in Scala, you guys were solving some problems, and then you made blogs about what you solve and what you are good at. It's simple as that. Doesn't need to be how to hire an IT outsourcing company from Poland, right? Like that's nonsense. Everybody knows how to hire, and it's just like uh, 4,000 software houses in Poland. All of them make a blog post about how to hire. Like, what's your you know
Value
contribution
added.
to
Yeah.
exactly to this noisy mess of internet that we have? If you create another blog post, just a checkbox to tell your CEO, okay, I did a black blog post, right? So it's always comes with that experience, right? I really believe in and the network at the end of the day, like as your CEO did, like MBA, finding the guy, actually going out there and networking with the actual people that needed talking. Like I'm talking to you, I'm getting. I was telling also my clients, I'm doing customer insight with software houses for 8 years. I'm trying to find out the customer insight because they change, the company changes, so on. But this never stops, right? It's not a sprint. It's not a project. It doesn't work like that. It's like it's not like okay, now we will do customer insight. Always you do customer insight, right? So I think this is the main thing: customer insight. Your be subject matter expert. and create inbound and content, and don't annoy people, right, with outbound.
Very good idea. Very good idea.
Good, Jan. Thanks a lot for this great conversation and for the story of Software Mill. Tell us what's, because I know that you have open source projects, you have this newsletter, you have some good resources. Tell us more about where can people learn more besides the website, or if they go to website, where should they go? What's the number one resource that you would recommend for non-technical people rather?
About SoftwareMill. So we are part of, yeah, because newsletters are mostly focused on technology, but we also have our ebooks that explain
Mm-hmm.
our company culture. I think that they are still very relevant, even though many of you have been working remotely for many years. But we have gathered a few lessons about working remotely, choosing
Mm-hmm.
tools, how to integrate in that kind of environment. That might be very helpful. Another ebook explains how it is joining our team. So we explain how it is your first day in our company, what happens after first month and 3 months. So it gives you a better understanding how we work internally, and what do we learn by this, and how it impacts the project that we run. We also organize conferences or events. The biggest conference is called Scalar. It's around Scala technology, so no
Mm-hmm.
surprise here. But it's a great opportunity to meet with other engineers who use the technology. They solve similar challenges to share knowledge, to learn from them, but
Mm-hmm.
also to meet with our clients there, because they joined the conference again to meet with us, to learn more and to become experts in that area. And from the business perspective, we attend every year we attend a few business conferences, uh, but we mix the business people with tech people because we
Mm-hmm.
want
Mm-hmm.
to um, make to shorten the if you come, you have the challenge, you want to discuss it, we want to discuss it already at the conference, not to just end the conversation on adding each other to our LinkedIn profiles or exchanging our visit cards, but to start solving, understanding the challenges that the clients are working on, to help them, to
Mm-hmm.
advise them, and to see if there is a potential fit with us or maybe with some other company. Because we are also proud members of SODA. Here in Poland, where around 200 companies, they cooperate closely. And I believe that after that correction on the market that you said, the companies become more and more specialized in some areas. So there are probably not anymore the companies that do everything. They just specialize in some areas. It's good to have a network of that kind of companies so you could refer your clients to them.
Yeah, Soda, it's community of software houses here in Poland. So
Software
I think,
development companies and software companies that use software for their business, because there are also product companies as well.
great. So I think this is another thing that I would add to your question, like what companies should definitely communities, right? Like joining these type of communities. Great. So thanks a lot, and thanks a lot for the contribution that you are bringing in the whole community, also by being very involved in organization like Soda. And see you soon. I hope in some conferences or meeting somewhere. And for the guys
Exactly.
listening, thanks for joining and thanks for tuning in.
Romeo, thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for listening for this podcast. If you have more detailed questions, just please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can reach out by our website. I'd be happy to have additional calls if you have any questions to what we've discussed here, or maybe there are some other subjects you are interested in, and maybe me or someone else from my company could help you with this.
Great. Thanks a lot, Jan. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye bye.